It's over. It's finally over.
The Flash has finally ended after a 9-year run. We've seen the long journey of Barry Allen come to a close, from being a side character on Arrow to being the main character of his own show. Now, I've already talked about the Flash series on a video I made over a year ago, so this video will be mainly focused on this season in particular. And to do that, I'm splitting this video into 4 arcs for the 4 arcs of the show. The Red Death arc, the filler arc, the Green Arrow crossover, and the Cobalt Blue arc. Episode 1 through 5, the Red Death arc. I thought this arc was boring, and it didn't need to happen. Like, nothing of consequence happened, so I have very little to go into detail about. The Red Death in the comics is a nothing character, let's admit it, and the character here is just lame. Everything here was awful. Chilblain, Chester, Allegra, Keone. The only thing that I thought was good was everything involving Joe, because he's always great, and the final fight in episode 5. That's it. Moving on. Episode 6 through 8, the filler arc. I literally have nothing to say about this arc. It was the definition of filler. 3 episodes in the final season of The Flash that barely had the Flash in it. It was boring and could have been spent doing literally anything else besides what they did, and nothing of consequence happened to go into detail about. Episode 9, the Green Arrow crossover, the best episode of the season, the one everyone's looking forward to. I loved seeing Oliver back. I loved seeing Wally back. And Ramsey Rosso, the best villain that the show has had in years, was back, and he was just as good as I remember him. And he stole every scene he was in. I especially loved the scene where everything was a set and he was the director. That was perfect, in my opinion. And after seeing this episode, I thought the only way to go now was up, right? Episode 10 through 14, the Cobalt arc. This was the definition of okay, in my opinion. I thought the first part was great. Seeing Barry interact with the original Thawne and hang out with his parents again was so nice. And seeing the original scene again, in his own house, becoming the version of him we saw back in season 1, was so satisfying.
It was perfect. Perfect.
It was everything else afterwards that brought it down. The second and third parts of the event were nothing. The most important parts were building up Eddie as the villain. It was the finale that everyone was looking forward to, because not only was it the end of The Flash, not only is it the return of some of the best villains in the show, and Godspeed, but it was the end of the Arrowverse. A huge chunk of DC's TV legacy was finally ending, so everyone obviously is going to have huge expectations. And did it fulfill them?
No.
The finale was okay at best. I liked the beginning, seeing the speedster villains talk to each other. Thawne and Zoom were a good pairing. I would have liked to have seen more of them together. But then they were all defeated by the D-tier side characters. Keone defeated Zoom by tossing his lightning back at him, even though we've seen him catch lightning before. Cecile beat Godspeed by essentially telling him to go to sleep. Nora beat Savitar by somehow piercing his armor with his own blade. And finally, Thawne, the first villain of the show, getting defeated by Allegra, a character whose name I didn't even remember when watching the episode.
Waluigi time!
At that point, I started tuning out until Eddie was back. And then even after all this buildup of Eddie wanting his life back and kicking Barry's ass, he just stops. The red skies turn blue, and that's it. That's the end of Cobalt Blue.
My disappointment is immeasurable.
After that, it was just seeing the birth of Nora, which was nice, I guess, and the return of Caitlin, which was also good to see. But no Cisco, which doesn't really help this episode. But yeah, that's essentially it. This season was really bad in my opinion. The best episodes were episode 9 and 10, but 2 good episodes of 14 bad ones can't save the season. But overall, The Flash, along with the Arrowverse, is over. Despite its ups and many many downs, it was still a huge part of the DC universe, and I am sad to see it go. So, goodbye Flash. I hope we get to see you run again sometime soon. If you want to hear more of my talks, please like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. Later.
You're too late, Alex. You're too late.